Have you ever thought about what happens when just pure, unadulterated luxury doesn't just meet, but really fuses with performance, especially on two wheels? We're looking at something really extraordinary today, I think. Almost feels like a secret it's that exclusive. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission, if you will, is to peel back the layers on a machine that perfectly embodies this. The Aston Martin AMB 001 hyper-luxury motorcycle. We've got this fascinating article detailing this incredible bike. And our goal is to really get what makes it more than just transport. You know, how it becomes this statement of exclusivity, performance, and frankly, art. Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, and statement is definitely the right word. This is not just, another fast bike you might see. It's this amazing result of a team up between two huge names, Aston Martin, the British luxury car icon, and Brough Superior, the legendary French motorcycle maker. So yeah, we want to go deep, not just the specs, which are impressive, but what it really means in the world of, well, these ultra high-end vehicles.
I mean, just looking at photos of it, it absolutely screams hyperbike. It almost looks too beautiful to ride, like it belongs in a gallery. But then you see the specs, and it's clearly built to, well, tear up a track.
That's a great way to put it. And at its core, you've got this turbocharged 997cc V-twin engine. That V-twin configuration, it's known for being narrow and often gives you that fantastic low-end grunt, which is, well, absolutely key here. We're talking numbers like a pretty staggering 180 horsepower at 10,500 RPM and torque, around 96 pound-feet, which is about 130 newton meters. And all that power is wrapped in this incredibly light package. We're talking carbon fiber and titanium.
Wow, 180 horsepower.
Yeah.
In something that light. That sounds almost terrifyingly powerful.
Well, the carbon fiber and titanium, they help keep the weight down to roughly 397 pounds. That's about 180 kilos.
Right.
So you combine that power, that low weight, top speed is around 180 miles per hour. 290 kilometers per hour. It's got a 6-speed manual, liquid cooling, the works.
My first thought is just, is that even controllable for, even a really skilled rider? How do they tame that beast?
That's a really crucial question, and it gets to the whole philosophy behind this bike, I think. See, the turbocharged V-twin, it isn't just about hitting a massive peak horsepower number way up high in the rev range. It gives you a totally different kind of riding experience compared to, say, your typical high-revving superbike.
Okay, how so?
Well, think about it. Most superbikes, you really have to rev them hard, keep them near the red line to get that explosive power. With the AMB 001, because of the turbo and the V-twin character, you get this immense, relentless surge almost from the moment you twist the throttle. Doesn't matter if you're at 3,000 RPM or 8,000.
I see. So it's more accessible power.
Exactly. It's a different kind of thrill. Less about chasing that peaky power band, more about having that breathtaking thrust instantly available. It actually makes it remarkably controllable for what it is. And then there's the construction. That carbon fiber and titanium for the frame and body. It's not just about shedding pounds. It provides incredible stiffness, structural rigidity, and helps with aerodynamics, all crucial for stability, especially when you're hitting those kinds of speeds.
Right. Makes sense.
And the way it's all sculpted, it means the bike feels really precise, very responsive to what the rider is doing. And visually, like you said, it's just stunning. A true work of art. That bold aerodynamic shape, it blends Aston Martin's, signature elegance with obvious racing influences, the sculpted fairing, those muscular lines, and the amazing thing, each one is meticulously handcrafted. Owners can actually personalize things like the paint, the stitching, different finishes, makes each one totally unique, bespoke. And performance-wise, it's got top-shelf components. We're talking fully adjustable Öhlins suspension front and rear. That means you get incredibly precise damping, control over wheel travel, just excellent handling all around. For stopping, high-performance Brembo brakes, dual discs up front, single disc at the rear, exceptional stopping power, and, importantly, it comes standard with ABS, the anti-lock braking system, for that extra layer of safety.
Okay, so let's put ourselves in the rider's boots for a second. If you're the one actually riding this thing, how do all those premium parts, the Öhlins, the Brembos, the ABS, how does that translate into feeling confident and in control, whether you're pushing it on a track day or just enjoying a fast road?
Oh, they translate directly into a huge amount of confidence. The adjustable Öhlins suspension, it lets you fine-tune the bike perfectly, whether it's for your specific riding style or the conditions of a particular track. You can dial it in for optimal grip, optimal comfort.
Right.
The Brembo brakes give you that consistent, really strong stopping power that doesn't fade, which is absolutely critical at the speeds this bike is capable of. And the ABS, well, that's your safety net, isn't it? It lets riders push a bit harder, maybe brake a bit later, knowing they have that electronic backup if things get tricky.
So it really ties the performance potential together with usability in a way.
Precisely. It's about usable performance backed by confidence.
Okay, so it's clearly an engineering marvel with top-tier components. But you mentioned bespoke, handcrafted.
Yeah.
That leads us to the ownership experience, doesn't it? For a lot of riders, though, the joy is purely in the ride, maybe not so much the exclusive club aspect.
Yeah.
How do you sell someone on that premium for exclusivity beyond just the amazing tech?
Yeah, you've absolutely nailed what makes the AMB 001 so different. It's not just buying a motorcycle. It's almost like an initiation. Only 100 units were made worldwide. That makes it incredibly rare, incredibly exclusive.
Only 100? Wow.
Exactly. And each one is hand-assembled by skilled artisans. The quality, the attention to detail, it's just on another level. So owning one means you're part of this tiny, elite, global group. It's like collecting rare art or owning a one-off supercar. The bike itself is amazing, sure, but maybe the real luxury is that whole curated experience, the network it connects you to. It goes way beyond just riding.
I see.
And having the Aston Martin and Brough Superior names on it, that adds a huge amount of prestige, elevating the whole ownership thing into something really special.
So it's definitely not just a bike. It's positioned as a coveted masterpiece, a collector's piece right from the start. But how does this masterpiece stack up against some of the other titans in the hyperbike world? Thinking about bikes like, say, the MV Agusta F4, the Ducati Panigale V4R, maybe the BMW HP4 race.
That's a really good question, and it really highlights where the AMB 001 sits in the market.
Yeah.
If we look purely at horsepower, the AMB 001 has 180 HP, which is a lot, obviously. But it is less than some competitors like the Ducati Panigale V4R that puts out around 221 horsepower, or the BMW HP4 race at 215. Right.
But again, this isn't necessarily a downside. It's part of its character. That turbocharged V-twin, as we discussed, offers that unique driving feel. Strong low-end torque, smooth delivery. It's focused on accessible performance, not just chasing the highest possible number on a spec sheet.
Okay, performance character over peak numbers. What about weight?
Weight-wise, the AMB 001 is around 397 pounds or 180 kilos. So it's actually heavier than the Panigale V4R, which is about 377 pounds, and the HP4 race at roughly 374 pounds. But it is lighter than something like the MV Agusta F4, which is closer to 441 pounds. Its carbon fiber and titanium build definitely helps compensate, though. It still handles incredibly well despite not being the absolute lightest on paper.
And materials for the frame.
AMB 001 uses that carbon fiber and titanium mix. Competitors might use aluminum alloy, or in some cases like the HP4 race, also carbon fiber, and suspension and brakes. Pretty much top tier across the board at this level, right?
Yeah, seems like it. Absolutely. All these bikes, the AMB 001, F4, Panigale V4R, HP4 race, they all feature things like fully adjustable Erlin suspension and Brembo dual disc brakes. That's kind of the standard for high-end performance.
Okay, but the elephant in the room has to be the price.
Ah, yes, the price.
Yeah.
This is where the AMB 001 really sets itself apart. It's priced at 108,000 pounds. That's roughly 135,000 US dollars.
Wowza, compared to the others.
Big difference. The MV Agusta F4 might be, say, $25,000 to $30,000 depending on the spec. The Ducati Panigale V4R is around $40,000. Even the track-focused BMW HP4 race is about $88,000.
So a massive jump for the Aston.
Massive. And that really underscores the point. The AMB 001 isn't trying to win on pure power-to-weight ratio or lap times alone. It's excelling in that unique blend of bespoke craftsmanship, the iconic design influenced by Aston Martin, and that extreme limited edition exclusivity. That's what justifies the premium for the collectors and enthusiasts who value those things above all else.
It definitely occupies a very specific and, yeah, very expensive niche. But like anything so specialized, there've got to be trade-offs, right? Let's try and give our listeners a balanced view. What are the real pros and cons here?
Absolutely. Let's recap the advantages first. You've got that unique turbocharged V-twin engine with its distinctive power delivery. Smooth, strong acceleration, the lightweight carbon fiber and titanium construction, great for agility and durability. Unparalleled exclusivity, only 100 made. That's huge for collectability.
A definite plus for some buyers.
Right. Then there's the race-inspired design with that Aston Martin elegance, plus the customization options. Advanced suspension and braking systems, Erlin's, Brembo, ABS for top-tier handling and safety. And finally, that bespoke ownership experience, being part of that elite community, the prestige of the collaboration.
Okay, those are compelling points, especially the exclusivity and design. Now for the flip side.
Right, the drawbacks or considerations. The big one is the high price point relative to its peak power output. 108,000 pounds for 180 horsepower is significantly more expensive than rivals like the Panigale V4R or HP4 Race, which actually offer more peak horsepower.
So if raw track performance per dollar is your main goal.
This might be a tough sell, yeah. Then there's the weight. It is heavier than key competitors like the Panigale V4R and HP4 Race, maybe slightly less nimble in really tight corners potentially.
Okay.
Practicality is another one. It has limited practicality for everyday use. It's really designed for the track or as a collector's item. The ergonomics are aggressive, not really comfortable for commuting or long trips.
Definitely not a touring bike then.
Definitely not. Also, you might face a smaller dealer network and potentially less aftermarket support. Because it's so niche and a collaboration, finding specialized service or parts might be more challenging than for a mainstream brand.
That's a practical point often overlooked.
And lastly, somewhat ironically, the exclusivity might limit resale value in some ways. While it adds initial allure, its super high price and niche appeal could make it harder to find a buyer down the road compared to more established high-performance bikes. It's a smaller pool of potential buyers.
So it's an absolutely extraordinary machine, no question. But understanding those potential drawbacks is crucial for anyone considering it to know if it truly fits what you, the individual listener, are looking for. Before we wrap this up, let's touch on a couple of common questions that often pop up with bikes like this. You mentioned personalization. Just how much can the AMB 001 actually be customized?
That's a good one. And yes, it's quite customizable within certain parameters. As I mentioned, each one is handcrafted, so owners could work with the manufacturers on things like specific paint schemes, different colors or types of stitching on the saddle, maybe unique finishes on certain components. It really enhances that bespoke feel, making sure your bike isn't quite like any other.
Making it truly yours.
Okay.
We touched on practicality, but let's be direct. Is the AMB 001 realistically suitable for any kind of everyday use? Could you nip to the shops on it?
Theoretically, yes, you could. It has the advanced systems. The engine is actually quite tractable thanks to the turbo V-twin, so it's capable on city streets or open roads. But would you want to? Probably not often. The aggressive riding position, the race-focused nature, it just makes it much less comfortable for casual rides or commuting than, well, almost anything else.
Right.
It's really built for focused riding, for performance, for the experience itself. And, thinking about this, it really raises an important question, doesn't it? How does someone actually balance that desire for the absolute ultimate in luxury and exclusivity with maybe more practical concerns or just pure raw track performance numbers? Where do you draw the line?
That is a fantastic question to leave people thinking about. It really forces you to consider what you value most in a machine like this. We've certainly gone deep today on the Aston Martin AMB 001, really unpacking its identity as this incredible fusion of luxury, performance, and sheer exclusivity. It absolutely stands as a major statement piece in the hyper-luxury motorcycle world.
Absolutely. And if you kind of connect this to the bigger picture, it does make you ponder the ultimate value proposition here. Is the worth of a machine like the AMB 001 defined mostly by its power stats, its exotic materials, its engineering prowess? Or is it more about those intangible things, the heritage of the names involved, the incredible craftsmanship, that feeling of belonging to such a small, exclusive group? Does the AMB 001 maybe push the boundary of what a motorcycle can even be, moving it beyond just transport into this realm of like kinetic sculpture or collectible art, something that evokes emotion just standing still?
It definitely gives you a lot to chew on, not just about bikes, but about how luxury, performance, and exclusivity play out in other areas too, maybe even in our own pursuits. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the remarkable AMB 001.